President Trump is planning a new expanded travel ban that could completely shut the door on asylum seekers from multiple countries. If you or someone you know is applying for asylum and comes from one of the affected nations, this is news you can't miss. I'm going to tell you all about Trump's new travel ban, and we're starting right now. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending or are considering applying. I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. Let me know how long you've been waiting. According to recent reporting by the New York Times, the Trump administration is finalizing a new ban on travel to the United States that's even broader than versions from his first term. First, let me explain the important connection between travel bans and asylum. When a travel ban is imposed, it severely restricts how nationals of affected countries can reach the United States to seek protection. While technically people could still attempt to reach the southern border through Mexico to request asylum, this route has become increasingly difficult and uncertain under current policies. Even if you do reach the United States, it's uncertain whether you'll be allowed in at all. The most direct impact is that the ban prevents affected nationals from boarding flights to the United States, which has traditionally been the safest and most viable way for many asylum seekers to reach U.S. soil where they could exercise their right to seek protection. Without the ability to travel directly to the United States, many asylum seekers would face dangerous, lengthy, and often impossible journeys through multiple countries to reach the southern border. During Trump's previous travel bans, individuals from banned countries who were fleeing persecution were effectively blocked from reaching U.S. soil, where they could exercise their right to seek asylum. This new ban would create the same barrier, but for an expanded list of countries. Based on the New York Times reporting, the administration is developing a color-coded system of restrictions. The draft recommendation proposes a red list of countries whose citizens would be completely barred from entering the United States. This red list would include most countries that were restricted under Trump's previous travel bans: Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. But here's what's especially concerning. The draft tentatively proposes adding Afghanistan to this list of countries whose citizens would face a complete travel ban. For asylum seekers, this is devastating. Many asylum applicants from countries like Somalia, Syria, and Afghanistan have extremely strong claims based on severe persecution. With a complete travel ban in place, they would have no legal pathway to reach the United States to seek protection, regardless of how strong their asylum claims might be. For context, this would affect approximately 200,000 Afghans in their native country and 51,000 outside Afghanistan, half in Pakistan, who are currently in the official pipeline to come to the United States. Many of these individuals assisted American forces during the war and have been approved for special visas, which is itself a form of humanitarian protection similar to asylum. The plan also includes an orange category of countries whose access would be curtailed but not completely blocked. For asylum seekers from these nations, this could mean extremely limited pathways to protection, with stringent requirements that many fleeing persecution simply cannot meet. Enhanced vetting procedures and other potential requirements would significantly slow down the process and likely exclude many legitimate asylum seekers who lack the resources, documentation, or time to navigate these additional hurdles. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and bell notification so you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, several critical questions remain unanswered that directly affect asylum seekers. The Times reports it's not clear whether people with existing visas would be exempted from the ban, or if those visas would be canceled. So it's unclear whether someone who has a visa and is currently in the United States would be allowed back in the country if they leave and their country is on the list of those banned from re-entry. This also creates tremendous uncertainty for those who may have valid visas but haven't yet entered the U.S. to apply for asylum. It's also uncertain whether green card holders, those approved for permanent residency, would be affected by these bans. This could potentially impact asylees who have already won their cases and obtained green cards, but who might be outside the U.S. when the ban takes effect. What's perhaps most concerning for asylum seekers is that these bans could effectively override existing asylum law. Under U.S. law and international treaties, individuals have the right to seek asylum regardless of how they enter the country. However, if they're categorically banned from entry based on nationality, this right becomes meaningless. The timeline for this is approaching quickly. In one of his Inauguration Day executive orders, Trump directed the State Department to identify countries for which vetting and screening information is so deficient as to warrant a partial or full suspension on the admission of nationals from those countries. He gave the department 60 days to complete this report, meaning it's due very soon. From my experience as a former government immigration officer, I can tell you that these kinds of broad bans create immense hardship for legitimate asylum seekers. When the previous travel bans were implemented, I saw firsthand how individuals with genuine persecution claims were unable to reach safety in the United States. I can't stress enough how crucial it is for anyone considering seeking asylum in the United States, especially those from the countries mentioned, to understand what might be coming. If you're from one of the previously banned countries or Afghanistan and are planning to come to the United States to seek asylum, you may need to accelerate your plans or consider alternative options. For those who are already in the US and applying for asylum from these countries, it's unclear how the ban might affect ongoing cases. However, previous implementation of travel bans created a generally hostile environment for applicants from banned countries, even those already in process. This development fundamentally alters the asylum landscape. The reinstatement and expansion of travel bans could effectively cut off pathways to safety for many individuals fleeing persecution, particularly those from the affected countries who have not yet reached the United States. It's worth noting that during Trump's first term, the initial 2 versions of the travel ban were blocked by federal courts. However, a third revised version was ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court. We can expect that this new expanded ban will almost certainly face legal challenges as well, but it's unclear how the courts will rule this time around given the current composition of the federal judiciary and the Supreme Court. The fact that this ban may be even broader than previous versions is deeply concerning for asylum seekers worldwide. I'll be following this situation closely and will update you as more information becomes available on how it specifically impacts the asylum process. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. Remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an Asylum Strategy Session so we can help you secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.